Hello, welcome to Hope for Flint. I am beyond words honored and excited to have my partner in crime, Lisa Metropolis, my co-host with Kaiba Health and Life. You are also head of operations for Kaiba Intermedia, and you are now my guest on Hope for Flint.
I know I'm in the hot seat with the hot mic. This is kind of, it's different. It's a different feeling.
I love it too because you produce a lot of the Hope for Flint shows, so you get a lot of the guests. For people who don't know, Lisa's in the trenches politically and community wise. You book a lot of my amazing guests, and you do everything basically. So welcome to Hope for Flint. But the reason you're here today is because we're here now to kind of shed some light into your horn, which I know you don't like, but we're excited. The Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity sent you a letter with Gretchen Whitmer, our governor of the state of Michigan, letterhead. Mm-hmm. We are pleased to inform that you have been selected as one of the 2019 top Latinx of Michigan, selected by the Hispanic Latino Commission of Michigan. I have goosebumps.
Thank you. I'm so honored. Of course, I'm humbled and honored. I absolutely was not expecting this whatsoever.
And you just got this letter?
I did. I received it recently. Yes.
Like just days ago, and you called me, and I'm not surprised. Just so you know, I wasn't surprised. You know, us having worked together for so long, and you have taught me so much about politics, about community, being passionate. And you specifically have taught me so much about the Latinx community. Tell me just a little bit about what this represents for you.
Well, thank you. First, I want to say I called you, sorry, Dad, I called you before I called my dad, which is a really big deal, I know. But I'll mention that. But Kristen, just the love that Kristen and I share for each other, and the camaraderie that we have. You kind of laid it down to me in January, very, very shortly after my mother passed, which is another part of the community activism that I do, for my mother and the scholarship. But you laid it down to me in January. I was so discombobulated, and you said, okay, you were driving, you were you had your coffee in one hand, your headphones on, and you said, okay, I'm going to spend the next hour driving and just telling you
how it is.
And you put so many things in place for me. And honestly, Kristen, that conversation put many things in motion for me the very next day. And you know that. I've kept you up to date on everything. So, yeah, I did call you first.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. For me, I know when your mom had passed this year or last year, late last year, it was hard. It was tough. It came on very fast. And for you to process, you and your mom were very close, and you were grieving, and then some time had passed. Yeah. And, I looked at you, and I just gave you some real talk. I said, here's what's up with you, and here's where your light is, and you need to go make a difference with this passion. And here we are now. Here we're sitting. And that's why I said this is no surprise to me.
Thank you. Well, you did a lot of the connections also for me earlier part of the year. So
look at us hug each other. Sorry, everyone. Are we alone here? I mean, yeah, right. Well, and for me, it's like your mom and dad were really trailblazers in kind of laying the foundation, the bedrock, if you will, for your passion for.
Absolutely. For my heritage and my community. So, So Latinx is all encompassing. I know, like the Hispanic Technology Center changed their name earlier this year to the Latinx Technology Center. It's important to all encompass. So that's kind of where my focus is. My parents were and are continue to be a huge part of my productivity, my passion for my community. My mom was and still is. She implemented some things that are still in place in Saginaw community. for the civil rights, for all civil rights, but mainly and primarily for the Hispanic community. And her main focus towards the latter part of her life was for women and children. So that's, we started a scholarship shortly after she passed. We started a scholarship in her name. We kind of hit the ground running to continue to carry on her passion and
her legacy.
Her legacy, what she wanted, because she got up every single day and just did it.
Right.
And there was no downtime for her to promote women and children and to promote the Latinx community.
Well, so and she had 5 kids.
Yeah.
And it was a time of massive unrest within our society.
Yeah.
And that's something that's always been so impressive to me is your activism. I mean, for people overall, the inclusion of the Hispanic and Latinx community, that's what you've educated me on.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I've done my best, and I continue to do my best. I talk to anyone who will listen to me about that. That. Sometimes you're like, Lisa, we're in Kroger. I need you to just pick up what
Lisa,
we need.
It's been 17 hours. I'm just kidding. Actually, I love listening to it because for me, it's such a rich history and such rich heritage. And even the culture, from the clothing to the food to the love to the family. I mean, it's just so really, it's really inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah, anywhere I am, I think I went into the loft and Rodney was behind the bar, and I'm like talking to him about the Latinx community. He's like, "That's great, Lise."
He's like, "Okay, what do you want to drink? Thank you."
And
want
everyone
some tequila?
Everyone, right? Everyone in the community has been so supportive. Yes. Everyone has been so supportive to listen, and then they say, "What do you need, Lisa?"
Well, and like you said, the talks that we have are real talk. And one thing you have said is the Hispanic community is so underserved, especially when it comes
underrepresented.
Yes, that's a great word. Sorry, that's the correct word. Underrepresented in terms of decision makers and policy.
Correct.
And community.
Correct. We have some, Santino's doing a great job. Vanessa Guerra's doing a great job in our communities here. My mentors have been, Art Reyes has been an incredible mentor to me in the community. He's for years and years, he's introduced me to so many people. His son, his whole family.
Right. He's got a lot of kids. How many kids? 5 kids. And they're all like
4. Yeah.
4. And they're all so uber successful.
Yeah. They're great. Really they're great. And, his family and Rose at La Familia and her family in Aurora. I mean, there are just so many incredible Hispanics. Asa, who is the director at the Latinx Technology Center. I mean, we have he's young and he's up and coming and he's doing amazing things.
Young talent,
and Chris Flores. Oh my goodness, he has been instrumental in helping me reach out to people as well.
And how ironic we're having this conversation because the interview prior to you was an intern with Odyssey House who's now in community involvement and admissions, and Chris was instrumental, in launching Odyssey House here for the Flint community.
He's incredible. And that first contact came from you, so thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. So you have some big things to talk about. I know that you've done some really exciting things.
Yes, in being this, I'm just so excited to be able to promote like this in this way on our platform that we do. I'm a big advocate for the Samaritas Community Center. They are all over the state of Michigan, and they provide underserved communities throughout the state of Michigan with many services.
I love it.
One of their major services right now is they work with unaccompanied migrant children who have crossed the border on their own and are looking to reconnect with family members here in the United States. Wow. So the Samaritas community centers across Michigan are
they connect them
on the front lines of connecting those undocumented minors, and they're looking for people to be foster parents for them for up to like 6 weeks.
Because it's so important that they find a family member, because when they cross illegally or legally, they have got to find someone who will house them. It's all part of
it's
the
part of the when they
legal
become
process.
refugees, and immigrants, So it's part of the process that they have that as minor immigrants. So it's just so I'm so glad to be able to say that here, that if you are interested in helping or getting more information, you contact me. I'm an advocate for them. And you contact any Samaritas. There's one in almost every single community here in Michigan, and they will be more than happy to give you information on that.
Is there a website?
There is. It is, well, you can email refugeejobs@samaritas.org. There's a lot of positions also that they're looking to fill, but for information on the Samaritas initiative.
Yes, and
you
it's
can go to their website, samaritas.org. Yeah.
It's SAMARITAS.
Correct.
Please check them out.
Yeah.
I know you're so passionate about them,
I
so
am.
that's
I've
great.
talked about them so much.
And then, you're only one of 25 picked throughout the entire state.
Thank
How
you,
impressive is that? And there will be a huge dinner and event where you will come on stage and be honored.
I know, that's really incredible, and I'm excited to have my family there, and I know my mom will be there. I don't know who nominated me for this, but I said to my family, I just feel like my mom had a huge hand in pointing someone to do that. Simply
That guardian angel.
Simply because I'm just full force on fire to promote the initiatives of the Latinx community for everyone. I serve all communities and everybody.
Sure.
And
But this,
this is definitely a huge piece of my heart.
it's what we call hashtag this.
This.
Well, I know that your family at Kaiba Intermedia and Hope for Flint is so proud of
Thank you.
and the work you're doing. And this is only the beginning. I mean, what a trailblazer in speaking from the mountaintops about the Latinx community and educating and the Hispanic community and continuing to uptick those numbers of involvement and ensuring that that there's a voice.
Absolutely. I will be, being out in the community and doing more and reaching out to community members, for that also going forward. So that's a big part of it.
So you'll see her.
You'll see me. And isn't it just so great to work for a company who has such an incredible diversity to it?
That's exactly right. We look at media companies, and you and I have had lots of conversations about the political arena, where you've educated me. This is your wheelhouse. And a lot of times, the media, though we have such a different political environment now, it's a very polarized, very dichotomized. So Fox versus CNN, and you kind of have to pick sides. Where we work for a community that allows us to really have a voice and kind of showcase everyone, which is what we do. I mean, we are all encompassing, we are all inclusive, and then it also allows us to have our personal voice, which is so important as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything else?
I mean, there's so
always
much. There's always something else, and I know that I'll be out there and just continuing to pound the pavement and just make sure that the awareness continues. And really, what I really want to scream from the mountaintops also is that I'm always looking for people to pound the pavement with me, and I'm also always looking for untraditional advocacy voices.
There you go.
So when I show up, people know when I show up. People know what I'm there for.
Why? And I love that you say that, because there's a lot of you out there. There's a lot of extroverts, but there's a lot of introverts. And you may want to privately reach out to Lisa, DM her. She's very responsive. You can get to her via Hope for Flint or on her personal social media pages, Lisa Metropolis, and also check out Kaiba Health and Life.
That's right. Kaiba Health and Life.
On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also Google and iTunes for Lisa Metropolis. So I love you.
I love you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Statewide Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. One of 25 Latinx of Michigan award. Congratulations, Lisa Metropolis. You definitely are gorgeous. Hope for Flint.